One night, back in his dorm room, Caleb sat staring at his reflection. His eyes were darker, his smile had vanished, he looked caged. He opened a notebook and wrote three words. Circle of Cage. He thought of Emrock, of Toby and Kenny. He thought of Sei and Mimi, different people, same damage. What if the real problem was him? What if he didn't know how to choose a circle? Then a memory hit him, Mrs. Jide in the library holding a dusty book. It's not enough to remove people who block you. You must also recognize those who break you slowly and silently. A real circle does two things. One, challenges you to grow and celebrates you when you do. Anything else is just a cage in disguise. He finally got it. Caleb withdrew not out of bitterness but clarity. He stopped giving his best to people who gave him crumbs. He started writing again, this time for himself. He joined a small creative collective where ideas were protected and credit was shared. He built a podcast called Open Windows, centered around breaking mental cages. The podcast blew up. Guest invites, sponsors, and collaborations started pouring in. He didn't become rich overnight, but he became free. One day, years later, he got a message. Bro, I see you everywhere now, big man. You still remember us? From Toby. Another, I'm proud of you even though I never said it. Mom would have been too. From Kenny, his brother. Caleb smiled, not with pride but peace. He replied kindly, but he didn't return to Mbrook. He didn't feel the need to prove anything, not anymore. At 26, Caleb stood on stage in Johannesburg, delivering a TEDx talk titled Your Circle or Your Cage. The truth is, people shape us even when we think they don't. You don't just grow in life, you are either watered by your circle or strangled by your cage. Some people are ladders, others are lashes. Don't be afraid to choose. Don't be afraid to walk alone until you find those who walk with purpose. The audience rose in applause. As the lights faded, Caleb looked toward the front row where his new team sat, cheering with full heart. These weren't just colleagues, they were his circle. Open Windows began as a podcast recorded on Caleb's phone in a quiet corner of his apartment. No fancy mics, no intro music, just raw reflections about life, identity, people, and purpose. The first episode was titled How I Realized My Friends Were Chance. It was just 14 minutes long video, but it hit hard. Comments started trickling in. I needed this today. You are saying everything I have been afraid to admit. This feels like therapy but real. Comments continue to pour in. Caleb didn't expect the traction, but each week the audience grew, not because of trends, but because people were starving for truth. By episode 10, he had introduced guests, young people like himself who had walked out of toxic circles, a girl who left a fake influencer group, a guy who escaped a gang, a student who dropped out of school to escape family abuse and started again. The theme was the same. You can't soar when you are surrounded by anchors. So university students across West Africa began referencing Caleb's words. Churches played snippets of his episodes during youth meetings. NGOs invited him to speak to young people about choosing circles wisely. Caleb's voice was becoming a movement.